Hafaday, Tirwami, and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Thursday, June 27th, 2013. After 4 long years in federal litigation and 5 months of settlement talks, retiree plaintiffs, the CNMI government, and the Retirement Fund have at last struck a deal, or at least agreed on a broad framework. The landmark settlement agreement is still tentative and needs to be submitted to the federal court for approval. Fund beneficiaries will also be consulted for their input. But the general principles that have been agreed to so far include a guaranteed payment of 75% of all current retirees' pensions. This means that all retirees are looking at a 25% cut. The plaintiff's attorney, Marjorie Bronster, told the court yesterday that pension payouts could improve in the future. In a phone interview, her co-counsel, Bruce Jorgensen, explains.
It will all be tied to both the 75% figure and to the CNMI government's fiscal position, which might improve. For example, if certain assets were sold or if certain investment opportunities panned out, then there would be an adjustment which would benefit the retirees.
Another significant part of the deal is that the parties agreed to establish a settlement fund out of which pensions would be paid. The fund would be administered by a federal trustee or receiver who answers to the court.
One of our priorities was to retain federal oversight over both the settlement process itself and the results of any settlement, so we consider it a significant benefit that both the federal court has oversight over the settlement and the federal court will have jurisdiction over any stipulated judgment.
And in the event of a default on any of the government's obligations to retirees, a non-appealable stipulated judgment could be enforced against the government for the entire amount owed to the fund. That unfunded liability is currently pegged at $779 million, but may also be adjusted in the future.
That amount comes from not only the outstanding judgment that was obtained in the Superior Court, but in addition to other monies that are owed to the fund by the CNMI government, which were calculated based on figures that were made available to counsel for the parties in the Johnson case quite recently, and were then evaluated, assessed, and figures were arrived at based on those amounts.
As for active employees who have applied to opt out of the fund's defined benefit plan, refunds of their contributions will be processed once settlement is finalized. The total payout is anticipated to be about $52 million. Bronster told the court on Wednesday that about 20% will be paid out upon preliminary approval by the court, and the remainder within a reasonable time period. Bronster and Assistant Attorney General Rina Patel agreed that reasonable means days, not weeks. And according to Bronster, the parties also agreed that active employees will be paid their refunds without interest in exchange for the plaintiffs agreeing not to contest the validity of CNMI laws that authorize those refunds with interest. Other details are still being worked out or have yet to be disclosed. These include the future of health and life insurance benefits for retirees and whether active employees may cancel their refund applications and opt back into the defined benefit plan.